Person one loves person two. Guess what? Shenanigans ensue. Person one hates person two. Guess what? Still shenanigans ensue. Person one fake dates person two. Guess what? You guessed it. Shenanigans ensue. Co-host one reports to co-host two. The name of the show? Shenanigans ensue. Yeah. Hello, I'm Jasmine.
And I'm Jane, and welcome to Shenanigans Ensue.
A podcast where they call me Chip.
Oh, you can't get them to stop?
I want to be this much of a badass when I grow up that I just say things like that to people.
On the fly, it was unprepared.
Oh, beautiful.
Each episode will watch a rom-com and discuss its merits as a member of the rom-com genre.
We'll cover well-worn classics, hidden gems, and everything in between.
We'll give you our unsolicited opinion on every trope, caper, and flim-flam the film used, or maybe abused.
And of course, the shenanigans.
This episode, we'll be talking about Hitch.
Yay!
Is it a verb? Is it a noun? I don't know.
They ask that in the film.
Yes, they do.
Oh, man. Will Smith back when he was still America's darling.
So much has happened in the subsequent 20 years.
We're talking pre-slap.
Pre-entanglement.
His children being embarrassing on the internet.
Oh, gosh. Maybe even his children.
Honestly, yeah. Oops. So funny. This film is what, 2005?
Yeah.
And in a lot of ways, feels like it. Especially the Kevin James as leading man time period of his life.
Goodness.
I know he's not like the titular character in this one, but he's like a primary character. And man, this was a good time for him. King of Queens.
Yes.
I think it's got to be close to the time period that Paul Blart came out.
I think so, yeah. So he was at his peak. I haven't seen this since about 2007, I think. I actually still have a copy of it on DVD, and I watched the director's cut because I was a nerd.
No, that's so good.
And that was my hobby.
I watched this sometime around then, like somewhere near when it came out, but I didn't remember basically any of it.
I remembered the basic premise, the Q-tip dance, because that will be forever seared into your memory.
Oh, yeah.
And the Benadryl serenading.
I didn't remember any of that. As Allegro was monologuing at the end, I was like, oh, right, I do remember this now. But that's pretty much it.
I have seen this.
I wanted to start right away, so I'm going to hold my tongue.
Okay.
But right off the bat, this movie comes in hot, so let's hit you with the plot synopsis. Dating consultant Hitch and gossip columnist Sarah meet in a bar and start dating.
What they don't know is that Sarah is covering celebrity Allegra and her new boo Albert, who happens to be Hitch's client.
Shenanigans Ensue! It's so good.
It's such a messy entanglement.
It is wild. And they managed to really pull it off.
Yeah, they do.
There's some aspects of this that are very similar to Failure to Launch.
Very, very much so.
It's really wild that we literally just did that.
Yeah.
And then ended up on Hitch by accident, by the way. We had a different movie lined up and we couldn't get it in South Africa for viewing. So we ended up doing Hitch as a last-minute pivot.
Not quite realizing how many similarities there are to Failure to Launch.
Yeah.
Which is just wild.
I guess, like, it's also that same time period of player theory. Like, do you remember that 2008, 2009, 2010 period-ish? That had to have been around then when people started talking about, like, players theory. There was, like, books that came out.
Oh, yes.
So I think it was on people's mind.
Pickup artist kind of thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that was very much in the zeitgeist at the time.
Yeah, and, like, fortunately, we have this interesting situation where at least Hitch is not doing the shitty version of it. Like, when you think he's about to nag that first woman in the bar.
Yeah.
And then it pulls back and it was was just a technique to get her out of this messy situation so that he could talk to her solo. And I'm like, oh, okay, that's fine.
It walks the line quite well.
It does.
In my opinion, because again, like with failure to launch, there could be ethical issues brought up, and it is a little bit murky in terms of how you're going about helping these guys woo these women. He seems to have a moral code. I mean, we only see him with like 4 clients, including Albert, I think.
Yeah.
But it seems like he's only with them right up to the first kiss. So he just helps them through 3 dates and isn't doing like active deception or turning these guys into someone that they're not. More like
Yeah.
helping them bring forward their best self, I guess.
Yeah, honestly, he's like a confidence consultant in the same way.
More of like a life coach.
Yeah, in the same way that we had the other woman trying to build men's confidence before letting them go out into the world. It's interesting. I don't know why the focus is men not having confidence in both. It says a lot about our society, I suppose.
Yeah.
And definitely some of the bits are antiquated, but I do think that it aged pretty well.
It did. I was pleasantly surprised.
Yeah. So let's hit those tropes.
Let's do it.
We have voiceover.
A really good use of this.
Yeah, although I do have words to say on that when we do get back there. We've got montages. We have music doing the most. And I noticed it this time, which I don't typically notice. There's a lot of freeform jazz in this film.
Yes, so much. Oh my goodness.
Too much freeform jazz. Delightful. We've got best friends. We have a cynic versus a playa. We've got misunderstandings. Big ones. We have a dramatic speech, as well as a dramatic chase, and so many manufactured meet cutes. 100% manufactured meet cutes. Unbelievable.
Right up until the very end. So funny.
Okay, so right off the top, voiceover. Why did he talk to the camera only at the beginning and then never again? We've talked about this.
Unnecessary breaking the fourth wall for no reason.
It's so confusing when they do that.
I'm dead.
I want voiceover, give it to me, and I am fine with you talking directly to the camera.
But carry it through.
Oh, and to be fair, it was just the end caps, right? He does it at the very, very beginning and at the very, very end, but never again. And it's weird. We watched the movie of him living his life, but the beginning and the end were like when he decided to start making advertisements. And so he's like filming so he can sell it.
He needs to pick his business back up again.
Yeah, that's for the Instagram ad.
Yeah. He needs to do some image rehabilitation.
So funny.
But it is a really good way of dropping us into the world.
So good. So efficient.
Yeah, we have these montages that you will also talk about that he's doing the voiceover for.
The very beginning.
Yeah.
Let me intro you to 4 very different clients very quickly.
And you see his process and you see what he's talking about play out across the first 3 dates right up until the first kiss. And it's just charming and fun. We have music doing the most throughout. That whole opening sequence is actually really solid.
It was really cute. I actually really enjoyed it. And I honestly think that the way that they set up all that voiceover and the monologuing and the montaging, the things he's saying, while maybe some of the language is antiquated and a little bit misogynistic at times, it's not wrong.
Yeah.
He's saying pay attention, be in the moment, think about actually actively listening.
Yeah, it's good advice.
Yeah, responding in an intelligent way, asking relevant questions.
I agree that some of the language is a bit misogynistic and somewhat condescending in terms of referring to women not knowing what they want or that you must show them what they actually need or whatever. But he is also saying, don't be looking at her lips. Don't imagine what she's looking naked. Listen and respond to what she's saying. Like, that's good advice.
And even good advice for men, women, or other people.
Yeah.
We should be very aware of the fact that desperation is never a good energy to come to a date with. And that's for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Don't come in too hungry. Don't come in too thirsty. That's not just for dating, by the way. That's for auditions.
Interviews.
That's for life. I'm a big energy kind of person. But when I started replacing this feeling of, oh, please, I really want this job when I went into interviews and audition rooms. And once I came in with this, what I call fuck you energy, everything kind of changed. And that's not to say that like people should be playing around with other people's emotions or anything.
No.
But you should have confidence in who you are and what you bring to the table. And you lead with that confidence. And people will like it or they won't. And it's not your problem.
Yeah. And it's a different way of viewing yourself.
Yeah.
Not like, what can this person give me? It's how can we collaborate together to get what we both want kind of thing. If it's a date, if it's an interviewer, if it's the casting director or whomever, it's giving them too much power. If you are coming in with like, pick me, choose me, love me, it's a lot.
Exactly.
And if you've been on the receiving end of that, then you know what it is like.
Yeah, like you said, that was a really good way of putting it. It's not about what you can take from the other person. It's what you're bringing to the table and whether or not that's a good fit.
Yeah. And circling back to Hitch, I think that's why it kind of works that he is just helping these guys up until the third date. He's not trying to manufacture chemistry.
Right.
Maybe manufacture a meet cute or two, but it's not trying to find ways to like neg these women or trick these women or invent a new personality for them. It's just helping to give them tools to like be a bit more confident.
Because at the end of the day, the personality that Albert brought to the dates, his authentic self, who wasn't scared or worried or self-conscious, actually won over Allegra.
She found him sweet and charming.
Exactly. And so him getting out of his own way in that regard is what made that relationship work. And so whatever confidence building, whatever coaching he needed so that he could be his authentic self the moment they started talking, that's what worked.
Yeah.
Good advice in that regard.
I would love to talk about the manufactured meat cute.
Gosh, they're so funny. Unbelievable.
So ridiculous. Hitch is at the bar where he and Sarah both happen to be, and he's getting the intel from the bartender, and the bartender's like, she usually drinks beer, but today it's a martini.
Oh my gosh.
It's too much. My goodness.
I love that so much. I also just love the idea of the kind of woman who's going to drink a beer, but then on a tough day is a dirty vodka martini kind of gal. Honestly, goals. Again.
Oh, gosh. So he goes over with these dirty martinis and is intercepted by Chip.
Thank goodness. He was coming in with the wrong energy.
Chip actually helps him.
Chip laid the foundation for their love. And again, because he was being observant and listening.
Hitch was following his own advice. He listened to the way she shot Chip down.
And that was correct.
Yeah. They have like this whole back and forth, which is really funny, their banter. And Hitch leaves because he can tell she wants to be left alone. And then one of the bartenders comes over and he's like, this is a dirty martini from the gentleman who just left. Oh, sorry, that was smooth.
It's so smooth. And he doesn't just notice that she wants to be left alone. He identifies all of the ways that she was putting out the, quote, correct signals. Heels under 2 inches, reading glasses, but no book. This is insane.
Could men take notes, please? The amount of times I've been approached on the streets where I'm like purposefully gigantic headphones on and looking at other things like fully occupied. I don't want to be spoken to. I'm not giving open body language.
I don't understand it.
I don't either. I won't even ask someone for directions on the street if I can see that they are occupied or don't want to be approached. And that's just for directions.
Giant headphones are a clear indicator. The amount of people who have tried to approach me with giant headphones, I'm typically listening to audiobooks, so please, number one, don't interrupt me. And then if you are, I'm not listening to you for at least 10 seconds while I pause my book.
Yeah, exactly.
And so I don't understand why you would do that to somebody. Speaking of, I've literally been in a bar and brought a book and it was reading, waiting for somebody else, and still got interrupted.
No, that's not an invitation.
Yeah, I don't want to talk to you about the book I'm reading.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Anyway, well handled, Hitch, paying attention.
Yeah, gosh, that was a masterclass in putting yourself out there.
Yeah. So that's the one. Then we obviously have Albert and Allegra in the boardroom.
It's so funny. I don't even know which one you would count.
Right.
Because she doesn't remember them.
True.
But like Albert getting to the pen first is kind of a meet cute. Him quitting his job dramatically was kind of a meet cute.
By accident.
Follow-up question. Did he go back and talk to his boss and tell his boss that he didn't mean it and has a job still? Or like, is he jobless?
I should hope so, because she just went up to him in his office and was like, I'd love to meet with you on Thursday to discuss options. So I guess she doesn't even acknowledge that he quit. Never mind the boss.
I love the idea that she's a high enough profile and expensive client that when she ran off and went to see him in his office, that was like an automatic, the boss won't let him quit anyway kind of situation.
And then the final manufactured meet cute is right at the end. We at Allegra and Albert's wedding.
Oh, I love this.
The granny is in cahoots with Hitch to fake choke so that the best friend will save her.
So good.
It's so over the top and so dumb and funny.
I mean, I love all of
The
it.
granny trading winks with Hitch.
Granny doing the most.
So good.
Both of them are hot. So, like, honestly, go for it.
Yeah, slay. The grandson is like, I'm blah, 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 the third, and this is, and the granny's like, no, don't bother about me. The two of you go dance.
So good.
So stupid.
We touched on one, but also this film really utilized the montage so well.
Yeah.
There's the opener montage. There's the I'm going to teach Albert how to do his thing montage. There's dating montages.
The sad montage.
And, oh my gosh, 2 in a row. We got 2 in a row dance credit montages.
Amazing. So unnecessary. We didn't need to forward jump to the wedding.
I loved it so much. Was that just the thing? Everyone did so many dance montages in the aughts.
Yeah, it was like a prerequisite, I guess, or something.
Yeah.
Can we bring those back?
Please.
They're so much fun.
I love it so much.
Okay, I'm obviously going to do music doing the most.
Please.
Like we said in the beginning with the opening montage. And we start so strong, like you said, with don't know much about history. And then we dovetail into Love Train, Love Train.
So good.
It's so good. It's just setting the tone for the film, you know.
And like I said before too, there's so much freeform jazz.
Oh my gosh.
The moment that I got taken out of the film, it was so distracting, was after Albert and Allegra's first kiss, and he's kind of dancing on the street a little bit. And I was like, this music is actually too much.
We had so much music without lyrics as well. Like I have here the quirky music introducing Albert when he's just like messing around in his office.
I
And
know.
then we have the spy music while Hitch is busy researching Allegra. Stupid.
Oh gosh, so good.
And then we have more jazz, sad jazz with the sad montage. And we have Usher, yeah, coming in so strong with that whole dancing sequence of Hitch seeing what Albert is working with. And then the last two is I walk the city late at night, cut to walking the city late at night. Like, why are we being so literal with the...
I can't.
And the very last one for our dancing pre-end credit montage is now that we found love, what are we gonna do with it?
So good.
Oh gosh. Is there another trope you want to hit before we move on?
No, I think best friends and misunderstandings is really just wrapped up in the shenanigans.
True. I do, though, want to talk about the dramatic speech.
Oh, please.
Before we move on. Because what I really liked about the use of it in this film is that it feels a little more realistic. Like, we're so used to seeing Hitch being so smooth and everything is prepared and he's thought it through and he has a plan. But in this case, he has no plan.
Yep.
He hasn't had time to craft a speech. He's doing it on the fly.
Yep.
And he can't get it out. He's saying nonsense.
He's embarrassing himself.
He's overwhelmed by emotions to the point where he literally asks her to close the door so that he can monologue at the door.
So good. The speech leading into the chase, gosh, it's so bad.
It's so embarrassing.
That's Sarah's brother-in-law, relax.
Hitch even opens the door for Sarah's brother-in-law while climbing on top of this Mini Cooper to try and win her over while still being polite.
No, please. Ah.
And then Sarah, like, hitting Hitch with the car, and the brother-in-law being like, can you drive stick? It's just all so funny.
It's so good.
Well,
That brings us to shenanigans.
shenanigans!
Once again, so many workaholics, so many writers in rom-coms, and I love the Sarah setup that she left her beach
Right.
vacation 4 days early because she had taken not just pictures, but pictures on a disposable camera.
Wild.
That she caught this dude cheating on this unnamed beach and then gives the pictures to the newspaper's photographer. This is so far back that we were still doing disposable cameras. It's so funny to me.
But it's such a good intro of that character as well, with the show don't tell thing.
Yeah.
So we're not just hearing, you're such a workaholic, you need to take a vacation. Because it's like, what are you doing here? You don't work here for another 4 days. Go back to your beach or whatever. You know, like, it's built in. It's
Yeah.
not just saying, you work too hard.
But it also makes sense that she left early because this is a hot story. She's got to print it now.
It's hot goss.
Yeah, gossip doesn't last very long. She has a
No.
shelf life.
Yeah, even back in 2005 when it was a little bit slower,
I feel like arguably this was even more important then.
because less of it was happening.
Less of it was happening and it was all about these big names and faces, right? Like he's some prince or lower level dignitary of a foreign country dating the heiress of a fortune in America. Like it was just way too much. I love it.
And because of what happens when she missed that Allegra was at a party, you see the boss's disappointment. So the stakes are quite high for this character. Of course she would have flown in.
Yeah.
It makes absolute sense. I want to go even further to the beginning, back to the montage, where Hitch uses a female dog with a little pink bow in her hair to lure one of the women's dogs out of the elevator,
That was unhinged.
give it to one of his clients so that the client can pretend to rescue the dog from being run over by a cabbie. Insanity.
I cannot believe that you would take this dog that you somewhat kidnapped,
Fully kidnapped.
pass the dog on the street to one of your clients so that he could fake a car accident.
It's too much. It's so much.
Unbelievable.
That he went to the trouble of getting this other dog in the first place. Where did that dog come from?
And this guy went through the trouble of setting up and prepaying a yellow taxi. Hilarious. Also, R.I.P. Dylan's Candy Bar.
Oh, does it not exist anymore?
It closed.
Oh, no.
They got by quarantine.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Oh, that bar where they're playing pool towards the beginning
Mm-hmm.
with his, quote, friend who has a child on the way and can't stop staring at these other women.
Ugh.
The fact that it later gets established that that's not just some friend, that's Hitch's brother-in-law.
Yeah.
The woman that this guy is, like, emotionally gonna cheat on, that Hitch is gonna bring these other women to talk to him, that's his sister.
That's so disturbing.
Once they revealed that, I was very bothered.
Rightfully so.
Why did they do that? Why
I
did
don't
they
know.
set it up like that?
It was so unnecessary, especially because we never meet the sister even.
And this guy never shows up ever again. He kind of doesn't matter.
Yeah, it was just that scene and then nothing.
And all the stuff he says about finding love, how important it is, and all of that is essentially said later by Albert. Like, we did not need this scene at all.
Yeah.
I guess maybe it was just fully there as a juxtaposition between when he's able to grab that woman out of the bunch by pretending to ask her for a drink when she clearly doesn't work there, and then, like, having that as a contrast to his miserable dates with Sarah. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Those dates, though, please.
Speaking of those miserable dates with Sarah, shall we hit some?
Oh my gosh, I would love to.
So, first of all, this Ellis Island date is started off by a really fun way because Hitch doesn't have her number. So he knows where she works and sends her a walkie-talkie.
Oh gosh, I love the walkie-talkie.
It's so good.
That was so smart.
Yeah, because he has her name and he has where she works. Genius, actually.
And also so good because you're going to get an immediate response. Just sending your name and number, who knows?
Mm-hmm.
This is like showing the initiative. It's a little disarming.
Yeah.
What are you supposed to do when something like that happens? Again, a little bit of the player theory because he holds the cards because he planned it. He knows he's going to talk to her.
Yeah.
He's paid this guy to stand there and wait for her. So he's in control in a lot of these scenes.
Yeah.
But he does it in a way that is incredibly charming. So when he does let go of control, it's sweet.
Yeah. And he has mentioned why he likes to be in control because of what happened to him. I'm not excusing it either. And she also does call it out by saying, you know, this is kind of invasive a little bit.
Yeah.
But it is interesting laying the groundwork. And he is again, like in Say Anything, persistent because she says she can't the Friday, she can't the Saturday. And then she agrees to Sunday.
And I love that he knew that she was going to say that. He had prepared.
Then she's like, what would I have gotten if I said Friday? I also want to know.
He probably knew that those were going to be no's.
It was really funny. And the whole office like watching. Yeah, they just had like a lot of fun banter on it with him saying, you didn't say over. And she's like, this conversation is over once you tell me when and where.
Over. I understand why he set it up for 8 a.m. because he had a private tour at Ellis Island before it technically opened. But that sucks.
7 a.m. Not even 8, 7.
Oh, 7. Thank you. Ew. I don't want to do that.
What was funny though was when he sees her and he's like, good morning. And she's like, good would have been at 10. And I was like, I feel that.
Yeah. Also, okay, so we got on jet skis and she's very specifically says in the Hudson. So you've gotten on jet skis on the west side somewhere where you would be considered in the Hudson River. And you're going to then jet ski all the way to Ellis Island? That's what we're doing. When I'm on a boat going to Ellis Island, that's like at least 15 minutes.
That's a long trip on jet skis.
Right? That seems really far on jet skis. And he's not on the tip of Manhattan where I get on the boat. He's on the Hudson somewhere.
Yeah.
He's like 30 minutes away. You guys are going to jet ski 30 minutes?
No wonder it ran out of petrol or whatever.
It's very funny.
I'll post a picture on the stories so you can see the geography of this for people who aren't familiar with where the Hudson is located in relation to Ellis Island, just for some context.
Like, I don't know where a human would consider it to be the Hudson and not the Atlantic Ocean. Like, I don't know where you draw the line, but I would consider that somewhat further up. Like, legitimately on the Hudson would put you maybe on the lower west side at best.
Well, if it wasn't for that ill-planned mode of transportation, we wouldn't have had the sequence of him, first of all, telling her to scooch backwards, because of course he has to drive.
So that he can kick her in the head.
So he can kick her in the head. Disastrous. Already a bad start.
Also, she changed and where's her stuff?
Right. Did they have like a locker or something? Where did she change?
She changes again when they get to Ellis Island, right?
Does she? Isn't she still in her wetsuit?
I don't think she's in the wetsuit for the tour.
No, I think she was wet because I was thinking, shame, isn't this girl cold?
Ah, okay.
Or maybe she was just wet and still in clothes. I can't remember now.
I can't remember. It's just weird.
Mm-hmm.
Just get a speedboat.
Right. So that's already a bad start. And then he went and researched her. And he's like setting it up to be this kind of romantic gesture and is sharing glances with the guy who's giving them the tour.
And it appears like it's a romantic gesture at first, that she's just very moved.
And again, music doing the most, which I didn't hit on, but it's this romantic swelling music that just soars and it's amazing and beautiful until she starts sobbing and runs away.
And freaking out and like thrusting at the book like she wants to fight it. It's hilarious.
Turns out her great-great-grandfather was a serial killer nicknamed the Butcher.
Again, establishing that this character is not actually very good at research, which is why Allegra had no reason to be worried.
Did he not read the article fully? Sorry, I don't know why I find it so funny.
And a final joke of putting her in a cab. She doesn't want him to get in the cab with her. He closes the door on his own shirt and it gets ripped off.
A great button.
As the cab drives away. Oh, after this date, Sarah and her friend, the one with the southern accent, go out so that they can talk about it. The name of the place that they're in, the outside shot, says Rice to Riches. And then they're inside eating rice pudding. And I was like, is there a rice pudding chain?
Called Rice to Riches.
Heinous.
I also am not a fan of rice pudding.
I hate the idea of a rice pudding chain. And it's real. I just Googled it.
No, it really?
It's real. It is a dessert shop. Oh my God.
How many locations do they have?
I don't know. This is so funny.
It's a real place.
I can't believe it's still open. How are you still open? It's just one. I'm actually going to be near it later today.
What? No.
It's close enough to where I have to be later today that I might make a detour.
Oh, please do. Send me pictures.
This is so funny. Why?
That's hilarious.
It really is an ice cream shop, except the tubs aren't filled with ice cream. The tubs are filled with different kinds of rice pudding. I hate the idea. I think it's so weird. I will take a picture. I'm going to go. This is why I love films in New York, because this kind of shit. I'm just going to happenstance be near there later. I'm totally going.
That's so funny.
Oh, also the scene in Rice to Riches, the very real rice pudding shop. I love the scene between the two women. I think that was really sweet.
I like their friendship.
Me too. They're cute. I like the idea of this conversation they had as well, that this date was miserable, that Sarah realizes that she's a bit of a cynic, that it was miserable in a spectacular way.
Yeah.
And she finds it charming. Again, charming comes up over and over again. I remember thinking to myself, not really remembering the plot, that when Hitch tells Albert not to dance at all, I was like, don't tell him not to dance. His dancing is cute.
That's how I felt as well.
That is charming. Leave him alone.
Let him dance. Let him live his best life.
Yeah, he's having fun.
And to Albert's credit, he didn't listen.
And then when that ended up being a significant plot point, I was really satisfied because, yeah, that's super charming that he was able to not take himself seriously.
Yeah, and then right at the end, Albert and Allegra are like both doing the Q-tip and the pizza making dance at their wedding.
Oh,
it's very
good.
cute. And it hit home the point between a really nice scene that we get between Allegra and Hitch, where she's listing all these things that Albert did that she really liked, and she feels hurt because she thought they were all manufactured by Hitch. And he's like, I didn't tell him to do any of that.
And she's like, what did you do?
Yeah.
And he's like,
nothing.
Aww.
That was great. That was so sweet.
So cute.
A recurring thing that they have a lot of fun with in this is the whole 90-10 kiss thing. You go in 90 and you let her come the other 10.
I forgot about that until they were saying it. I was like, oh, that's this movie.
They play with that a lot. Like Hitch is coaching Albert through it, and he says like Albert must come the 90 and like wait for him to come the 10. And he's like, oh, I don't feel it. I'm not feeling it. And Hitch gives this whole speech about Allegra and her pooling green eyes, and it's really impassioned, and like Albert just goes for it and kisses Hitch. And Hitch is like shouting at him, you go 90, I go 10. You don't go the full 100.
It's like, what are you doing? I didn't tell you to go all the way.
And then I like how they play it out in the film, that even when Hitch and Sarah kiss for the first time, she goes in the 90 and he goes in the 10.
Yeah, that made me so happy.
Yeah, it's cute. It's like paying attention to detail, right? Like you are honoring the rule building that you've established.
They did a really good job of that in this film.
Truly. And even with the very dramatic kiss between Albert and Allegra, where she plays with the keys and he's like trying to find a way to puck her up, but he can't, find the nerve to do it.
Oh,
and then he throws his inhaler.
That was one of the things that she said, too.
Yes.
It's like, you told him to do the inhaler thing, right? The fact that he walks away because he's too scared, goes to take a puff of his inhaler and says, no, I'm going to do it, and chucks it. It's just so delightful.
And marches up the stairs, and even then, he still just does the 90, and she comes in for the 10.
And just holds it there making a face. So cute.
I really like that they carried this through.
Oh, and the Hitch teaching Albert the 90% rule leads into the second miserable date that Hitch has with Sarah. The double date with Sarah's boss. Oh my God. How do you go to a food cooking class and not mention food allergies?
Right? And he doesn't even ask. He's been offered this plate of something, compliments of the chef, and he doesn't think to ask.
Right, what's in it? You have to know some of your food intolerances, right?
Right. I mean, he's a grown man.
Are you really being surprised right now?
Unless it's like a magical sudden onset of being allergic to seafood, I think it is.
Yeah.
What is also funny about this date is that it's half a date, half mining Hitch for information about Allegra and Albert.
Incredible. She never stops working. I love it.
In her defense, this one her boss put her up to, standing over her as she's on the phone with Hitch arranging the date, and then bullying her to asking him about it by saying, speaking of marriage, Hitch, what are your intentions with Sarah?
I also just love as the date devolves and they have to rush to a pharmacy to get Benadryl, that they get a liquid Benadryl. Who does that? And they put a straw in it and they call it his juice box. No notes. Honestly, that's a great second date in my opinion because it's so funny.
It makes a great story.
When they're walking through the park after they've gotten the Benadryl, I don't know if you noticed this, script supervisor wasn't on set that day or somebody messed up because the swelling was on the wrong side of his face.
No, I didn't notice. Uh-oh.
The swelling starts with his right ear, and it's the right side of his face predominantly. And when they're in the park, the side that's swollen is his left side.
Oh, nuts. A point where they were doing a good job of it, though, was Albert's thing with the mustard when he has this whole mess up on the steps with the food and his Coke and everything. And then throughout his entire conversation with Hitch, he has a bit of mustard on his nose.
Oh, that's cute. I didn't notice. That's great.
And it's multiple angles and everything, and the mustard is still there in every shot.
That's really fun.
What was also funny before they have to go get the Benadryl is that it's established that Sarah's boss's wife is a psychiatrist. And she's like, are you all right? And he has this whole little speech of like, I know what you're thinking. I'm uncomfortable because I want to make a good impression with Sarah's boss. And that's why you think I'm behaving weirdly. And she's like, no, I think you're having an allergic reaction.
Yep.
That was really funny.
You're trying to be too in control and you just made an ass of yourself again. It then also leads to a bunch of really sweet conversations that he's not editing himself as much because he's high on Benadryl.
So his guard is down.
And so they have a really beautiful heart-to-heart when she kind of puts him to sleep on her couch, trying to take care of him.
Yeah, about his sister.
Yeah, and about his own heartbreak. You know, some kind of precipitation.
That was so funny.
Really cute.
And then the best friend with this lingerie guy.
Oh, God, that guy is such a nightmare.
What a skis. I like that Hitch, when he meets this guy, also says what Sarah said to the friend of like, we met while he was in a lingerie store. He was buying something for his mother. And both Sarah and Hitch completely independently are like, oh, so it was like for another woman.
Yep.
But when she and Sarah are having this conversation, she's like, we spoke about such intimate things, like that he can't taste food and he wants 3 kids. I'm like, that's not intimate. The one is like something that you do and a fun fact about me.
Yeah, she has terrible taste in guys. And I will say, too, that there's nothing that brings me more joy than when men like that guy, real or imaginary, like in this film, are finally told no about something satisfying because
Yeah.
it breaks their brains. Have you ever seen somebody like this in real life be told no and consistently get the no and they can't change the no to a yes?
No, I haven't had that pleasure.
Oh, it's so satisfying. Watching somebody who's not used to not getting what they want, not get what they want. Yum, 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 yum. I can eat on that for weeks. The guy writing a check thinking that he's about to buy off Hitch.
Yeah.
No.
It was so satisfying when he's like, I will go and go until I get what I want. I can't remember the exact sequence, but Hitch is like, is that a metaphor? And he's like, yeah, because I always get what I want. And Hitch is like, I'm more of a literal guy. And like fully twists him and pushes him down on the table and physically threatens him. But it was well deserved.
Mm-hmm. The most deserved.
Because let's be completely clear, he was trying to hire Hitch just to sleep with this friend of
Yeah.
Sarah's, not like his usual clients. So you think, oh, so sweet as you start off, you know, the lingerie stuff aside.
He definitely said, I can't stop thinking about her. I can't think of anything else. I broke up with that woman. You think that it's an authentic meet cute before he rips the rug out and
Yeah.
is like, yeah, I think that I just need to like sleep with her and get her out of my head and then I can move on.
And the look of disgust on Hitch's face was really great.
I think I have one last thing.
Okay, I have something else as well. So if you want to put the button with yours, I just want to deal with it.
Oh, yeah, go for it.
So everything to do with Allegra's friend Maggie is just so funny to me.
That was very misleading. I loved it.
The whole setup is like, Albert is inviting Allegra and her friend Maggie to this thing because it's Maggie's fashion business that she wants to invest in. And they're coming up the escalator and this other woman is a little bit ahead of Allegra and Albert goes up to her and he's like, oh, Maggie, it's so lovely to meet you. You have such soft hands. And Allegra's like, no, this is my friend Maggie. Maggie's a guy, Magnus.
So good.
And because Hitch has told Albert that tonight is all about Maggie,
Yeah.
he has to be really like attentive because it's the best friend.
Which is true. You
It
need the
is
best
true.
friends to like you. If the best friends don't like you, there's a problem.
Absolutely. You have to be kind to the best friends.
Yeah.
Again, not overeager, overcompensating. Be yourself, but you need to win them over. So it's so funny because he's like asking about Maggie's artistic process and is complimenting the tie and it's like, oh, the whole thing is working. To the point where Maggie's like, is he gay? And Allegra's like, I don't think so. And Maggie's like, I like him.
Yay.
It's so cute.
Because Albert is charming.
he won over the friend.
And finally, the last thing that I want to talk about was the messy speed dating scene.
Oh my goodness, so much going on.
Unbelievable. What a mess.
That guy who wanted to talk to Sarah, who's like behaving pretty calmly overall.
Loved all of that. The fact that Hitch is like, yeah, okay, it's your turn. And then goes to the best friend's seat and starts
Yes.
to talk to the best friend kind of pointedly. And then the crosstalk. And then the guy 2 seats over now wants to talk to Hitch. And the woman getting up and yelling. It's just...
It's a hot mess.
Ugh.
He doesn't even have a badge.
I love it so much, especially because of what was clearly a lot of choreography that went into that scene.
Yeah, because as Hitch and Sarah are having it out, the best friend is on her date, and this actor who was just there for a day is like having to talk his date stuff while the two leads are having this massive fight, and his scene partner is also not paying attention to him because she's not supposed to. She's invested in what's going on with her friend and Hitch. For that actor to just keep on at it.
So good.
Kudos.
We understood the assignment. This was so well done. Really fun.
The choreography of that whole scene was really good.
I think that means it's time for
A
Fun Fab
fail.
Fail.
For me, it's fun. It's a fun one.
Yeah, I say fun.
Yeah.
I had a fun time.
It held up. I was surprised. It was a fun watch. Wasn't a fab, but like a good middle of the road fun.
Yeah, agreed.
Okay, well.
It is a product of the time, but
Yeah.
it aged really, really well.
And there was so much attention to detail given.
Yeah, really good writing in that way.
Yeah, they took every opportunity to thread themes and bits throughout. They took opportunities to make even one-liner characters funny. Like Hitch has a whole interaction with his doorman even.
Yeah.
You know, where he's like, thanks, and stop calling me Poppy.
So good.
And the the boss has so many fun things with Sarah as well.
Yeah, that was a great character. That's like an ideal secondary character in a film. He doesn't have a lot, but he really put a lot into it.
Absolutely. And he's aided by the writing as well. Like one of my favorite lines from them was a typical cynic. And she's like, I'm not a cynic, I'm a realist. And he says, you're a cynic disguised as a realist who is secretly an optimist.
Yeah, it was really charming.
Yeah. And the pointed interaction with him and his wife, and she was also great. Even the small characters were really great in this.
Loved it.
Yeah.
Well, I think that means...
It's time for our favorite segment.
Give me the cheese, please.
Okay.
All right. Are you ready? 3, 2,
2,
1. Junior's
Breibrötchen.
cheesecake. Oh, I don't know what that is.
It's Afrikaans. A brie bread is a direct translation, or a toasty on the coals
Oh.
is a translation with an explanation.
Fun.
Yeah.
I think I went first last time.
I think you did. Look at us.
Yay!
Remembering things.
We've also not been recording as far ahead as we have in the past.
That's also true.
So that helps a little bit.
Okay, so a breibrötchen, for those of you who aren't South African, who don't have South African friends, is a toasty that you do on the coals with your brie.
Ooh.
It's so good. It's delicious. So the smokiness adds a little bit of flavor. You don't have to use a specialty cheese. You can use any cheese. Some people put tomato or onion or chutney on it. Like there's a whole lot of different ways that you can play with it. It is so yummy, but it's not the star of the brie. It's a side. The meats are the star. The same way that with Albert and Allegra, they're not the stars. They're not the main couple that we're following, but they're still so cute and they're so wonderful to watch.
Yeah.
Like it's really sweet. You love them. You love a breibrötchen.
They're secondary characters technically in the plot of the film, but they're kind of my favorite part of the film.
They're so charming and sweet. I love their love story.
They're somehow the heart and soul of the film, even though they're not the main characters.
Exactly. And a breibrötchen is also kind of easy to mess up. It's deceptively tricky because you're doing it on an open fire, right? And you have to get the timing right with the other meats and stuff because you don't want it to eat it cold. So you could burn it, but then have the cheese not melted on the inside or not toast it well enough. Like there's a lot of things that could go wrong. But when you get it right, it's so good. But you have to have a lot of attention to detail with it, which is what I feel like this film did. There's a lot of attention to detail. It's very considered. Also, if you burn it a little bit, that's okay. You can scrape some of the bad stuff off.
Yeah.
With this, it's a product of its time, but you can just brush it off a little bit. It's okay.
Perfect.
Overall, a delightful accompaniment.
Aw.
Yeah.
Now it's my turn.
Junior's cheesecake.
Junior's cheesecake. It's not just a New York style cheesecake, it's a Junior's cheesecake.
Highly specific.
A New York City specific classic, which kind of is how I feel about this film after rewatching it. I don't think I remembered that it was set in New York, but the way that they hit so many quintessentially New York places and moments, you can tell they're filming on location. We're in the actual Hudson, you know? They didn't set up a sound stage to look like Ellis Island. That's Ellis Island. I've been there.
Yeah.
Those are on location shots. So I respect and appreciate that about films done in New York. The authenticity of it feels really good. And the kind of cliche moments of going to a Knicks game, joking about the Hudson, these fancy parties juxtaposed with these people who are workaholics. It's all very New York-y and feels really cozy to me. And then also I wanted to do something kind of cheese adjacent because this is a longer film. It's almost drama-y. It's almost a little too I don't know what you would call it, but it's rich and decadent in its storytelling. It's a little bit sweet.
I've forgotten how many tender moments there are in this.
Yeah, me too. Surprisingly sweet, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
A little bit tart, you know, if we've got some strawberries or cherries on top because of the bit of aging issues that are a product of everything from the aughts. And lastly, it is rich. She's decadent. You know who else is clearly very rich? These workaholic New Yorkers in their fancy apartments.
Beautiful apartments.
They must be loaded because those apartments are too nice. And for all those reasons, this is a junior's cheesecake.
Yay.
Well, there you have it. That was our discussion of Hitch.
Let us know your thoughts on the movie, any shenanigans we may have missed, or what cheese you think it is.
You can follow us on Instagram at shenanigansensuepod, or you can email us at shenanigansensuepod@gmail.com.
We hope you'll join us next time, and until then,
Just hearing your voice makes me smile.
Bye.
Bye. He made those pickup lines work. The difference between Chip and him was tremendous.
He wouldn't have opened with, "They call me Hitch."
Oh, you can't get him to stop.
Dude, literally, listen, that was the nicest letdown. She gave him feedback.
So polite.
I wonder what Hitch's opening line would have been.
And when did he have a chance to tell the waitress, I need a new drink?
What happened to those other 2 martinis?
I have no idea.
Did he just down the other one off screen or what?